and welcome to Wednesdays with W. This is episode number 17. This is again going to be a freewheeling session because there's a lot of action happening around the cricketing world. And obviously, I did not want to miss an opportunity to discuss about various things. Of course, a conversation with interesting guests and popular cricketers will take place. That will continue as well. It's just that on this particular day, I decided that it was a situation where I could not miss discussing about the action-packed cricketing world. She's a very clever girl as far as cricket is concerned. She's always thinking about how she can become better. She's keen on working her skills, and along those lines, there's no problem at all. But the very concept of getting her to captain the under 19 side can be looked about in two ways. One is that they want somebody to be in the dressing room who can inspire the others, because it can be a kind of an overwhelming experience for the young girls making their debut in the World Cup. As it is, this is a tournament that's starting for the first time, and that being the case, there could be a lot of nerves, there could be a lot of anticipation as well, but the thinking would have been that they would need somebody to try and calm the nerves and be a kind of a mature influence on the others, because Shafali could be under 19, but she is quite mature in that she's played a lot of cricket. But on a personal note, I don't think I'm an advocate of making a player play at a lesser level, because Shafali has played a lot of international cricket, and moving her down to the under 19 level, I don't see it as a great move, because that way cricketers can be harmed in a certain way. Because if you're used to playing international cricket, if you're there and having to work on your game to ensure that you retain your competitive edge at the topmost level, you've got to stay there. There's no point in trying to get somebody to play a lesser quality in terms of cricket. Yes, I'm not degrading the under 19 quality of cricket, but definitely it's not going to be as competitive or as challenging for Shafali Verma in cricketing terms. Yes, it can be a challenging one for Shafali Verma as far as the mental side of it is concerned, because it's all up to her now as to how she approaches and what kind of impact she wants to make, because she can tend to take it lightly. She may probably feel that it's going to be a walk in the park, which it may not be. But personally, yes, it will be a challenge for Shafali Verma as to how she handles that responsibility, especially when she is going to be the cynosure of all the eyes, because she's made a huge impact in international cricket. So otherwise, I don't think I would have personally pumped for this move of making her captain the side. Richa goes, yes, because she's got to play more and more, get more experience. But Shafali Verma, no, I don't think I would have personally gone for that. Yeah, fitting into the side would not be a problem, because they are good girls, and they are very approachable, and they're not really sort of reserved, both of them. They are extroverts in their own way, and that won't be a problem. But what could perhaps really pose a challenge or a conundrum for both these girls is in terms of cricket. Now, if you don't see a few players play, and if you got to take major calls, how are you going to do it? That's what is going to be the biggest conundrum for both Richa and Shafali. That is perhaps something that they will probably struggle. They'll have to go by somebody else's words. When I say somebody else, I'll say the manager or the coach or whoever is going to be provided along with the under 19 side for help. So we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be very interesting. But again, as I said earlier, the challenge is definitely for both these girls, because they've got to come down quite a few notches in every which way possible and handle the side, because there'll be a lot of expectations. Let's not forget that, because people can be unforgiving at times when they expect a lot, and if the people on which they place their expectations don't perform up to whatever level it is that they are looked at, then it's going to be a serious problem. See, in hindsight or any which way, if you look at it, I think what happened there was that the Indians did not put up enough runs on the board. It was like going out shopping with $80 when you want to buy a product which is sold at $100. then it's left to your haggling skills. But unfortunately, what happened there was that you couldn't clinch the deal with $80 in your pocket. You needed $100 to buy the product that you really wanted to have. So that's exactly what happened there. They did not have enough runs. The bowlers really fought hard. Yes, they also brought the side to a stage where they almost pulled off a good victory, but that was not to be in the end. Of course, a couple of mistakes towards the end when it was really a pressure situation did not help the Indians too. But overall, I don't think that result was expected, whether lesser runs or not. They were expected to do far better than they did in every department. He's one who doesn't get affected by all this because he takes everything in the same stride. Yes, there will be criticism if you have taken up the key role in Indian cricket. I'm sure he's aware of it. And quite obviously, he was appreciated a lot when the Indian team was doing very well under Virat Kohli and Ravi Shastri. He was given a lot of credit for providing players to the team. But that's how it is. That's how the cookie crumbles. If the results don't go your way because of various reasons, then you will have to take the big bats as well. So that's something that goes with the job. And Rahul Dravid's way of doing things is methodical. Yes, until now, it's not been a case of doing whatever the public expected of him. But again, any process that you set in place is not going to give you the results straight away. But of course, there have also been a lot of decisions that have been taken which left a lot of people wondering as to what exactly was happening. But there again, you will have different people doing things differently, especially when you consider the man before him as a coach did things differently, and a lot of results were produced. Yes, even at that time when a few decisions were taken, a lot of people questioned the wisdom of those decisions. But the thing was that they produced results, and now nothing like results, nothing succeeds like success. So Rahul Dravid's methodology or his viewpoints or his decision-making process will all be forgotten. Nobody will criticize once the team starts winning. But I'm sure Rahul Dravid will keep a track of what exactly is happening as far as the fan following is concerned. But the important thing here is that as long as they are aware as to where they are heading, and if they can pull off the results at the right time, I think it'll all be forgotten. The keeper slot is going to be very critical in a 50 overs game because if there is a lapse at the start of the innings by a keeper, especially of a top order batsman, then what happens is that the top order batsman on the opposition side has time to make you pay. That's what happens in a 50 over format, which means I'm conveying that you need to have a very good keeper. As of now, it looks a little bit uncertain as to who's going to be the keeper. Fixing a keeper slot is going to be the topmost priority. Yes, KL Rahul is gradually looking like playing that role, but I wonder if it's going to be the right course of action. The reason I say this is because 20 overs he can get away with it. He has one or two lapses here and there. The batter may not make you pay that much, but in a 50 overs, if you're going to drop a key batsman, then it's going to be a bit of a problem. And the other thing is KL Rahul, 50 overs is a long time. If he's perhaps one who's batted a long innings, and if he has to keep 50 overs, you have to see the cricketing fitness part of it as well. Because it takes a lot of fitness to be a wicketkeeper batter, and if you are not really being used to it from your younger days, it's going to be tough, and that is another factor they need to consider. And then the other thing is that we need to really look at is the medium pace department as well, and there are options, but again, what has been happening of late is that a lot of injuries have been occurring. That is something, of course, nobody can predict. But if there is a pattern that is emerging, then somebody needs to address it. Obviously, when I say somebody, is the team management and the support staff that are part of the Indian side. But they need to try and see if there is a pattern emerging, because it's very critical for the fast bowlers to be handled well in terms of workload management. Yes, along those lines, I'd even put out on the social media, yes, workload management is very important. But does it happen in the case of this so-called net bowlers that are provided to assist the senior team? Because they are there for a specific purpose to go and bowl at the batters or the players representing the Indian side. And I wonder if any workload management is being uh, seen as far as the net bowlers are concerned, is addressed, is something we'll have to see. I don't think that is possible because these guys go there, they're there to help the senior side. Whether they will have the luxury of saying no after bowling a few deliveries um, is something I'm not sure of. What has happened with him is that he's been made to realize what he needs to do under Ravi and Virat. There was a phase they dropped him because they felt he was not fit enough. And also, there was a phase where they felt he needed to improve upon his keeping skills. And whenever it was made clear to him, he sort of rose up to the demands and he did extraordinarily well. He improved his keeping. He also became a leaner, meaner, and fitter. If it is made very specific to Rishabh Pant as to where he needs to improve, what is it that he's got to do better, I'm sure he will go and work at it and do it. But all those things must be sorted out at least 6 months before the World Cup. Yes, people can say what happens if something goes wrong as you approach the World Cup, but yes, you are going to plan based on the resources you have available and also the factors or facts that are available to you at a certain point in time. So once you take those decisions, yes, if God forbid, if something goes wrong after you zoomed in on a plan, then it's a different case altogether. But as far as the team management is concerned, yes, they need to do things far ahead of the times. They can't leave it till too late. Yes, I think the more we talk about this World Cup until such time that happens, I think we're going to perhaps keep repeating a few things again and again. You would always want to see, you're curious when West Indies and Australia play each other because both of them have different styles of playing this game. Of course, everybody is hoping and pining for West Indies to be where they were some decades ago. You see momentary flashes of brilliance now and then, but it has to be said that their fast bowlers somehow could not uh, penetrate enough. And yes, you cannot discredit Aussie batters as well because you're talking about playing at Perth and also on the rolled on pitch as well. So things are different. This is a different stadium, I think. So it's a different scenario altogether. But however, Labuschagne, what's he doing? He's getting runs for fun, isn't he? It was fabulous display from him in both the innings, a double and 100 in the same test match. And of course, Braithwaite, he's probably one lone ranger who's fighting it hard for the West Indies side, and the numbers he's churning up is fantastic. And that was the top of the order. If only he gets some support from the middle order, I'm sure they have the attack even now. At least fast bowling attack they have to try and challenge a lot of teams in Test cricket. When is he going to stop performing? that's the thing you always ask, isn't it? You see, year after year, you think, yes, maybe he might lose his nip, he might lose his flight, he might lose his dip, but it doesn't matter to him what kind of surface he plays on. And what is really impressive about him is that, or what is fascinating is that he just makes use of the bounce that he gets on these Aussie pitches and keeps getting wickets. And you rarely see him not getting wickets in the fourth innings. Not that he doesn't get wickets when he bowls the first and second innings, but he definitely gets third and fourth. You can rest assured that he is going to be picking up at least four. And that's the kind of consistency he's shown over the years. It doesn't matter to him whether he's bowling to batters from the Caribbean islands or batters from the subcontinent, because regardless of the quality of batters he's up against, he's always there at the top, probing, posing questions. And it's not easy for an off spinner to do because generally you tend to think that the off spinners can be handled easily because there are a lot of right-handed batters in every batting lineup. But to be ahead of the opponents and to outfox the batters on each and every occasion that he comes across them is fantastic. And to do it over a period of for so many years you got to doff your hat, and you should not really sort of stop admiring that man. Yeah, they put up a lot of resistance. Yes, at one stage, looked like they might pull up a draw. But what they can take heart from this test match is the fact that the batters have shown that they have the ability to put up runs or to resist a very good Aussie attack. It's the bowlers who need to try and do better. And once the bowlers get their rhythm and find ways and means to pick up wickets, I think this series is going to be really interesting. Whenever you declare, you need to ensure that all the three results are possible. Because if you're going to sort of really put a team out of the contention part of it, then it's not going to develop into a good test match. Even the tight test match in Chennai, if you saw, when Border declared, everybody felt, oh, that was probably a little bit too risky. But what a game it turned out to be on the final day. I remember somebody videotaping it for the first 4 days, and on the fifth day thinking it's going to be a dull draw. He didn't bring his video recorder, and he obviously really keeps kicking himself even now. And that's the kind of declaration came from Ben Stokes. Quite obviously, the idea is to try and sort of bait the opposition. They also need to have a chance, or they need to feel that they have a chance of winning this test match. Only then you're going to get wickets. Otherwise, if the target is too stiff, if there's not enough cricket left for the side to make those runs, then what happens is straight away they're going to come out, shut shop. And once the batters are only keen on defending everything that's bowled at them, I think it's going to be difficult for a side to pick up wickets. But again, the track that they were bowling on, even though it was on the fifth day, it was still a sleeping beauty, and full marks to Anderson. What's he doing? He's making a mockery of these numbers, isn't it? Not only in terms of the wickets that he's piling up against his name, but also age-wise. 40. It doesn't look like he's 40, is he? It's just a mockery of what numbers are all about, as far as Anderson is concerned. And to have that craft is what is critical. That is what has been proved from that test match. It's not about the kind of pitches, it's not about the targets that you need to defend. He's proved that as long as you have the craft, you can bowl your sides to victory even though you got just about decent numbers on the board. That's what is the biggest takeaway from the test match, yes. But we must also appreciate the fact that England were hell-bent on going for a win from over one, the way they batted. It's not easy to get at 6 runs an over a period of 100 overs. You don't see that happening even in a one-day game. So that being the case, they were fantastic. They were very clear as to what they want to achieve. And what they've done there in Rawalpindi is going to really make other teams think if they need to do something different about the manner in which they played Test cricket all along. And if all the sides go on to jump onto the bandwagon and start doing what England did in Rawalpindi, I'm sure you're going to have people thronging to watch a Test match, no matter where it is played. Yes, Ramesh Raja has been making a lot of statements. It's come to a stage where whether people will take anything he says seriously. I'm surprised because he's a very intelligent man and he knows his cricket. He's been around for a long time. But I think it's more a reflection of the frustration that he's feeling as far as this particular statement is concerned. Because what is happening is that he as the chief of Pakistan cricket now, he could not perhaps ensure that the pitch was of a different nature, and that is something that can really be frustrating to a former cricketer, knowing very well that the entire focus is going to be on the kind of pitches that they dish out in Pakistan, because they're getting to play home series for a long time, and especially when you're playing against England, he knows that the English media will be very unforgiving of, will be really critical in case the pitches are not going to be as good as they have to be. That's perhaps one way of looking at it. Yes, as a cricketer, yes, as a former cricketer, he's entitled to his opinion as well. We'll forget his particular administrative position for the time being. Yes, he has got every right, he's earned the right to say what he said. And obviously, that statement is also perhaps a hint for the curators at the other venues to try and dish out better pitches. If this statement is going to produce that kind of effect, then everybody is going to be really happy. What has obviously happened is that all the players have bought into this idea and they have not put their personal interests ahead of the team. That's the reason why they have been able to play like that. If you look at it, Harry Brook, new into international cricket, he's also played aggressively. If you look at Crawley, he was not really sort of having a great time in international cricket, but they persisted with him and he's made the opportunities count, which means that nobody is looking to get their runs. They were looking at getting runs for the side. I think that is a huge difference here in the mindset, and it's not just about mindset, it's about going out there and doing it. Yes, this is where the coach comes in. He might have perhaps told them, you played 10 games, no problems, this is what we want you to do. And in trying to do what is in the best interest of the side, if you fail individually, we're going to back you, is what the word would have been from the coach. And that is why I feel that all these players have gone out and played the way they did. Otherwise, it's not going to be easy at all to do what they did. Yes, they can try and tweak it a little bit because you're looking at a lot of people sort of putting on their thinking caps and suggesting at what needs to be done to try and ensure that all the formats stay relevant. As far as the ODI is concerned, people feel it's a little bit in between. It's neither here nor there. So perhaps they can try and make it a 40-over game and then have a double innings kind of thing, which will perhaps be a bit exciting, because if you're talking about 4 innings of 20 overs each, then you would have some excitement, definitely more excitement than you get these days. Or you try and dish out pitches which are really juicy and then make it an exciting, low-scoring contest. So otherwise, what is going to happen is that it's going to be very difficult to watch a batathon over a period of 100 overs, because that is something that people get to see a lot in T20. And now, with the way England is really trying to push the others to emulate them, and if the other teams follow suit in Test cricket as well, then it's going to be a problem to watch a format which is in between these two and watch the same thing again. This will be a very interesting series because Australia have come with a lot of youngsters in their side. They're obviously looking at 1 or 2 cricketers to be drafted in for the World Cup, apart from the regulars that they play with. So it's going to be very interesting. India-Australia series in women's cricket is always really a great spectacle, because Australia, if at all they fear any side, or if at all they're wary of any side in international cricket, it's only the Indian girls, because they know the Indian side has a lot of firepower as well in their batting, and they also got a good spin attack. Yes, the fast bowling attack has become better as well. Renuka has done extraordinarily well, and Meghna Singh has also done well in the recent past. Yes, the absence of Pooja Vasraka can be a little bit of a setback for the Indian girls, but the overall scenario is that this is a series that everybody should make it a point to watch, because you're going to watch a real quality cricket. I would go as far as to say that this India-Australia rivalry is something very similar to what it was between the War side and the Ganguly side. And that's the kind of exciting cricket that you can get to watch when you watch these two sides play. Oh, at least the girls will be happy. The Indian girls will be happy not having to contend with her. But yes, she's been brilliant, hasn't she? Put her in a pressure cooker situation. She's always there churning out runs and leading the way for Australia. But then, of course, you might have good memories that she's left behind. And she'll always have a special place in Australian cricket and also in women's international cricket. See, the issue here is that how long these teams have played international cricket is something that we need to look at as well, because young teams When I say young teams that get the full status, they will get beat initially in the first 5 years or even 10 years, maybe. It's only after that they'll get a hang of it and then try and become better. We also have to understand that Afghanistan is really making progress in international cricket. They've shown that they can really become a stronger nation cricket wise. And Ireland, yes, we it's too early for us to assess about Ireland, but who knows? In another 5 years' time, they'll get better. Now, the same thing was said of Bangladesh as well. Some years ago, when they first started, yes, people are doubting whether they deserve to be there amongst the other sides in international cricket. But it's only a case of them getting better and better as they play more and more. And it will take time. Nothing is going to happen overnight. Now, the counter argument is about what do you do with teams like West Indies, which has been a great cricketing entity. And it's been a long time that they've done anything of note, isn't it? So that way, what happens is that it's going to be a little bit delicate. It's going to be also unpleasant in trying to sort of get into certain aspects of cricket, that too on an international level. We got to really see whether such decisions need to be made. But like perhaps I said in our last conversation, I think this might have been very, very appropriate. This might not have found a lot of uh, opposition if this were to be mulled in around 1998 or around on either side of the millennium. It might have perhaps been lapped up, but now it's going to be a little bit difficult. There it was, freewheeling about several aspects of international cricket and, of course, the various exciting things that happened in the recent past, and also of some that is expected to happen in the future as well. As I always say when I meet you people, for those who are tuning in for the first time, subscribe to this channel, press the like button, and also give us an opinion of what you think of all the things that we dish out for you on this particular channel. You can watch all the earlier episodes on the handles of Sportstar and the Hindu. Until I meet you next time, take care and be good.